in our hands. Here we stand. I'm a teacher, I'm black, and I'm a man.
In demand,
Hard,
in demand,
intelligent,
in demand,
integrity.
in demand.
In Demand. Teach, mentor, volunteer.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the In Demand Podcast. My name is Quan Nellums.
I'm Rod Wallace.
All right, and we have a special guest today, Emmanuel Smith, also known as Mr. E and the D.
No doubt.
Yeah, what's up, Mr. E?
How y'all doing? I'm doing
Good, man. We glad to have Mr. E here. He's doing some phenomenal things in the world of education. He's doing some phenomenal things in the city of Detroit. You care to kind of give us a little glimpse of what some of the things that you're doing?
So I came out, I think about 5 years ago with a math mixtape, which kind of spawned into what I really wanted to do as a children's television show.
Okay.
And right along with that, I just finished a sight words mixtape for the early learners to learn those first 100 sight words.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right, man. So, man, that's cool, man. The children's show.
Yeah.
So, what sparked that idea?
So what sparked the children's show is the old school, like the retro PBS.
Uh-huh.
And one thing that I really loved
Mr.
about
Rogers and
yeah,
stuff,
Mr.
yeah,
Rogers.
yeah.
Electric Company. That's what I was gonna say with Morgan Freeman, Bill Cosby.
Yeah.
It was cool to entertain and help children spark their imagination. It wasn't like a nerdy thing to do. Like, you saw real reputable people. And the other thing that I really loved about that really sparked it on the inside was the music and how they produced it. It wasn't anything like run of the mill. Like you could tell like it was spirit work. Like they put their soul into it, which made it timeless, you know? So I've really never forgot that, and I introduced even what I used to watch to my children, but I really want to be a part of the new wave of like being intentional on producing high quality children's entertainment. Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess I want to tell a little bit of a story because I'm sure we're gonna get into how you got to this place.
Yeah, indeed.
So several years ago, about 15 years ago, I was working at a charter school in Northwest Detroit, previously known as YMCA Service Learning Academy, then known as Detroit Service Learning Academy. Shout out to everybody that's still there, Mr. Beam.
Oh, wow.
Beam's still in the mix. They've expanded, but shout out to Mr. Beam, Maurice Evans, everybody who's associated. That school was it was special because it created a lot of people who are leaders in the educational landscape now in both charter and public arenas.
Yeah.
So, and I know that's a story for another day. But day after day, walking the hallways, getting the kids out of school at the end of the day, taking them out when the kids didn't, when the kids were done, when the dismissal was over, the kids had to come back into the building.
Yep.
And the kids came back into the cafeteria where they waited until they were picked up. So as one of the leaders, I would typically be one of the ones that's bringing kids in. And day after day after day after day, here was Mr. E working with YMCA. It was Latchkey.
Yep.
And regardless of what was going on, he was always smiling. Regardless of what was going on, he was always smiling. And it was clear that he had a great amount of joy in being there. Yeah. So how did you transition from that role into doing some of the things that you're doing now?
All right, so I'm going to try not to be too long, but I think that role, like just listening to you talk about it, like my memory is just like, that experience, I believe, is what thrusted me to where I am right now. Like starting from, because remember it was the school, then it was the Y right there.
Right.
And just being able to work at the Y, let me stop. The school part is what really opened my eyes, because when I went into the school, I never saw that many black males at a school, period. It was mind blowing. And I would tell people, like, I've never seen this many black dudes in the elementary. It was elementary middle. I never saw that. And that really lit a fire underneath me because I wasn't really at the time sure what I really wanted to get into. But when I saw that and I saw the impact and I saw how it was like the impact that I had with the kids, I saw it in school and I never seen that before. It was always like, teachers, whatever. It's us against the teachers, but I saw the students engage with you guys.
Right.
And that's what really, I think it really pushed me to where I am now, just to be able to see education through another lens. Then when I worked at the Y, like we really had to be hands-on because we weren't like South Oakland and Farmington YMCA that had a whole bunch of stuff. So we had to be we had to use a lot of imagination,
Right.
to be able to still produce a high quality program. So between those two places, it really, I believe, set me up for where I am right now. Just being able to, one, be very intentional, coming to kids at an out of the box type of way. That's just how I am. And just being very.
I used to think about and remind staff when I was an administrator about how integral roles like yours were.
Yeah.
When you consider that you were with some kids for 3 hours a day, 2 hours a day, whereas they may have been transitioning throughout the course of the day and going to different classes and this, that, and the third. You had a lot of opportunity above and beyond what teachers may have.
Yeah.
Also give the same credit to our transportation companies and bus drivers. They have the ability to impact kids in a whole nother way.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic to see that you transition and moved into doing
now
some
that
other
I'm thinking
things.
about like my dean's role, like I learned the quality of relationship and conversation through the after school program.
Absolutely.
I got a chance to find out like what was going on with them, why they were upset. I found out about family situations, and a lot of times we found out stuff like that over playing Connect 4. But they felt connected to the point, pun intended. They
Connected
felt
over Connect 4,
They felt connected enough to be able to share things, and then I was able to put 2 and 2 together. And
Right.
then 2, I was able to connect with teachers too on like, okay, do they have homework? And they started to see that the after school program, the school, like we were all
Connected. Yeah.
What year was that?
This was 2000. This was around 2005, 2004, 2006.
Yeah, the early thousands.
Yeah.
Yep.
So your introduction, you worked in the after school program at the school.
Yep.
And so that's the and that's like one of the goals of In Demand is that like my story is similar. Like I started doing volunteering at a school, but I ran a male mentoring program for middle schoolers at the end of the day as well.
Yeah.
And so that, just being able to work with those students, it like you said, it gave me a different view of what teaching could be.
Yep.
And I think that a lot of people, we call on people to become educators, but we also want people who, like you say, unsure. Like if you that young man who don't know exactly what you want to do, volunteering at a school can let you kind of, get a glimpse of, this is how you can be used.
Yep.
Right.
It gives you purpose, know.
it
And I
does.
think that when you think about young men, early 20s, and I was 18 when I started. It's like, searching for that purpose. Like you get a purpose there, and for some of us, it just stayed. We just stayed with it,
Absolutely.
And I guess you were segueing into your role now. So can you tell us what your role is now?
So I am the dean of culture, at my school.
The dean.
Dean of culture, right? And a lot of people, when they hear that, they automatically think of like typical dean. Discipline, send you home, suspension. And that was very interesting to me because I'm not that person. I thrive to keep children in school and trying to help them find out if there's an issue, what it was, and then how can we fix it. I work in an elementary school, and I'm so glad that I did. I always wanted to, just because of my experiences too. But also, we have a part in our creed, and it says, "I plant seeds of positivity that will grow throughout my community." And I put that in there on purpose because elementary, the way that they interact and the way that we deal with different issues that they have, it can stay with you and it can grow. So I try to help them understand that at an early age, that I'm not giving up on you. I'm not just sending you home. I'm not just saying that it's done, Let's figure out ways to grow the greatness that's on the inside of you, because we all make mistakes,
Yeah, and so there was an article that was written maybe a couple months ago where I think some brothers out of Philly maybe, that was saying that, we're more than disciplinarians, and I think that's, just what you're saying, the role, a lot of times when men come into the building, especially black men, it's like, all right, we need you to work with these boys, put the fear of God in them, but, it sounds like in your case, you putting, the love of God in them, and
absolutely.
So,
that's the goal, It's hard at times, of course you all know that when you viewed that way, it's like I'm coming in with the belt or something. Like, no, that's not me at all. Oh, Mr. E in here. No, you all are the teacher. This is your domain, and we should all be working together. But yeah, it's true that a lot of times, that's the viewpoint, is that, you come to and you going home, be scared. Like, no, you come to my office, come to my office for something good. Give me some good news. Let's chop it up. Let's make a song. Let's spark some creativity. It doesn't have to be my office is the school store. I try to make it so that when they come to me, they know it's for something positive.
And I want you to kind of elaborate on that, man. There may be some people who are in that role of being a student, or they are approached as the disciplinarian of the school, meaning that they got to be the tough, no-nonsense person. Let's talk about some of your style, man. How do you deal, a kid comes to your office, they're having a bad day, or maybe they've gotten into a fight with another kid. How do you address the situation?
Well, one thing that I thrive to do with every student and adult in the building is not just assume that I know what happened. I try to give everybody the opportunity to tell their side of the story.
Right.
And I think that's one thing that the students respect, is that even though if a teacher or someone gives me a narrative, that I don't just take it and run with it, but I take the time to sit down and listen to them and see what's wrong and what happened from your viewpoint. Then I listen to the other person's viewpoint, and then from there, it just matters on the situation. We may need to sit down and do a session where we're talking it out. I know restorative is like the big, but that's what I know. A lot of educators and a lot of people who do this hard work, that's that's what we do. We're not just gonna let's see how we can figure it out, how we can fix it. And that's one thing that I try to always do, is to let them know that. And I try to be very transparent with myself, about myself, too, because sometimes kids look at us, it's like we've always been perfect and we've never done exactly what you just did. And I always look, I've been there. I've been in the 4th grade. I've done I was the instigator. Yeah. That's how I know what happened, because I was the person that threw the gasoline on the fire. And they start to laugh. And Mr. E, that was you? Yeah, I was talking big junk. I was doing, I had not of rhymes. I had your mama jokes and everything.
Oh, you
had it written out. I was practicing,
You used to call it capping back in the day.
You used to call it panning.
Baking.
So I'm like, I know, and let's figure out how we can talk. And another big thing that helps is developing just the relationship and the rapport with the parents.
Absolutely.
Of knowing that I'm not just coming attacking you or attacking your parenting, because that's how it can feel if I'm always coming at you with negativity about your child, and being able to just create a space for parents to understand that, we all looking for the same thing, which is the success of your child.
Your ability to communicate care to a parent can determine a lot in terms of the flexibility that you have to be able to provide that student with alternatives when they need correction.
True.
So if you don't have that rapport and you're from your tone, from your language to
Right.
your word choice, and all of that is being like incrementally assessed by parents at all times.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, you mentioned something else, man. I don't want to gloss over it, but you said something about the making a song.
Oh yeah.
So if they come to your office, hey, what's wrong? Hey, let's make a song.
Yeah.
Tell me, how does that work?
So, I had some students that it's hard for them to, in moments of their lives, it's hard for them to really speak about what they're going through. So some students act out, some students, the way that they communicate, it may be through anger or fighting or shutting down. And I try to find that bridge or whatever it is. And with a lot of kids, it's the arts. It may be acting, it may be through songwriting, it may even just igniting a spark of songwriting. So I take journaling and songwriting and I kind of put it together. With a lot of my kids, the one thing that I always suggest is journaling, because I may not feel comfortable initially communicating how I feel. So let's write it out, write it out in your phone, write it out, on a notebook. And then from there, some of them start to understand and see, oh, okay, I see there's a story right there. And then let's try to see what we can create. And it started out with a lot of kids coming up with songs about how they felt at the time. Then that grew from a school-wide culture thing of representing my class or my crew, So each of our classrooms or our crews, they're themed after colleges. So then it became like a college rivalry, from in the building. So they'll be making songs about not just the colleges, but how they represent character. Yeah. So then that went from the kids that were struggling with character, it was almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy where they begin to speak all this positive stuff, and then I'm like, well, you can't be a studio gangster, If you're gonna write all this positive stuff, then I gotta see it in action, and that was a good ticket that I had.
Is this something that they would record?
Oh, so it went from there to now we have, last year we got, mic set up, speaker, and they recorded.
And I think that's important, like even just because it's something they can always go back to.
True.
And something that can be shared with other students as well.
Yeah.
And I want to make this point as well, because I know I have a background in hip hop. I brought that kind of passion to the classroom as well. I know Mr. Wallace did the same thing. You doing the same thing. And I don't want people to think that you got to be some type of hip hop guru.
Right.
It don't even have to be hip hop,
Yeah.
right? It's that bringing your passion to the classroom, to the school.
Right.
It's important. Whether that passion is crocheting,
whether
it's hip hop, whether it was up. I've seen people who just to get that recorded of students doing their thing, they can use their cell phone.
Yep.
Like, all right, let's record this thing, and just the fact that not only the students being able to see it, but the parents being able to see it as well. It does something for I would say for the emotional well-being and the growth of the student.
I think that we step to, conversations sometimes. I think our default is stepping to conversations about, not necessarily us, but on the mainstream, stepping to conversations about hip-hop in schools as a deficit-based conversation. Yeah. When in actuality, it's best practice to look at any cultural medium of a group to find out ways to kind of weave your way in to, it could be a bridge or it could be a lens. Just like you were talking about having students write and perform. There's research by Dr. Ian Levy from New York, who's also a rapper, who's actually
and a counselor.
He's counseling. Yep, he is a counselor, and he's actually writing rhymes with his kids during session, and it's freeing. Dr. Raphael Travis, they're both doing that. So I think at the end of the day, viewing what we do through that lens is essential to being able to touch the lives of people who live it every day.
Yeah, most definitely.
So I'm certain that just that experience unto itself could take a kid who is at 10 and is routinely at 10 down. So props to you for that, for using that.
Thank you. And even, I'm sorry, on the opposite end, I've had this year, and I almost dropped a thug tear on this one, but it was like a thug
Teacher thug tier.
TTT, you know. But it was a young man who was like extremely quiet, never really engaging with students. I've known him since kindergarten. This is 5th grade year, and this is like, I guess, his year to be him, and he's been right. And I'm like, where did all of this come from, you know? And he was like, Mr. E, I gotta be on the math mixtape volume 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I didn't even know that you were interested in, you know, hip hop in general,
Right.
you know? And I asked him, we have something called our Village Crew every week. And I asked him, I was like, I asked the students, give me something positive about yourself. A lot of times we hear what we're not doing right or what, you know, whatever. And he said, I want to go. He said, I have confidence to speak in front of people now. And for me, knowing his background, I know how true that was. And just to see how music and being around people to push the arts, how that helped to mold who he is and where he's going as he's heading towards middle school.
Yeah.
And just keep in mind that kids follow people.
Yeah.
So he could have had that skill, but you may have been the difference maker solely in him developing that confidence just from him watching you.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
But you know, and I think, you know, given the current climate of where we are in education, do you think it's room for that now to provide that? I mean, because that's something that you were probably doing off your, you know, this is your own time, your own, you know, talent. You brought the talent to, you know, it wasn't like, you know, you was the art teacher,
Right,
you know,
right,
so you're the dean of students doing, you know, this type of work. So, I mean, is there room for that where, you know, whether it's a teacher, whether it's the dean of students, where, you know, you can say, well, we're gonna step away from the norm and we're gonna do this.
Yeah.
You know, is that, did you get any pushback from that? Is this something you think that is still easy to implement now, or, you know?
I would say on one end, when I first started this, the team, my admin team, they were all for it, you know, so it was an easy segue into it. But to get the buy-in from staff, you know, that was the harder thing for them to see it actually work. When they saw the enthusiasm build within the student body, then, you know, more and more staff members and parents really got on board with what we were trying to do, which is a simple thing of using the arts, but it really helped to spur a positive, almost like positive peer pressure in our school. And I think that there is, I think there is room, but I think that it matters on the teams that are in place, you know, whether it's the admin team or whether it's the teaching body, or how we can come to a place of camaraderie for the greater good, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I always think, you know, the concept you're doing. I think I saw one time you had the open mic night or poetry night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think you had the tables together. I remember seeing you on the tables. Yeah, but you know, I've always said that, you know, the reason why so many of our kids, I think, navigate towards sports and things like that, and our parents and things like that, is because they know that consistently their talents are going to be put on display.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know, and so I think that's something that can be done like across the board. Like take that lesson from, you know, the athletics. Like, you know, we had to have something where consistently every student can be put on display.
Yeah.
You know, again, I think it's a source of pride for the students themselves, the teachers, the parents, you know, community in general, to see their students doing, you know, doing positive things. And so arts is definitely one of those segues into doing that.
I think people, just from a sociological perspective, like, people gravitate towards what gets them social capital.
True.
Amongst their peers and amongst their friends. So, and our kids get viewed crazy because being an athlete, being a rapper is something that they value above and beyond seeing some of the other things potentially because those things give them social capital amongst their peers, amongst their parents, so on and so forth. So you providing that for them is huge.
Yeah.
It's huge.
My wife is an educator, and she went down to, I think it was Ron Clark Academy. She came back fired up, and that's when she started, she really, a spark was lit. She was standing on chairs. So, but it wasn't that she was copying. It was just like, this is me, and
we can let loose.
We can let loose.
You step to it with that level of energy.
She
get a response.
Energetic teacher.
Yep.
She had a rainforest section that the kids were supposed to be doing, and she taught all of the content. And then she was like, "All right, for those of you all that want to do, create songs about everything. These are the points that you need to have in it. Mm-hmm. You need to add your extra parts into it." And it turned into this huge basic talent show of kids remixing all of these songs, but the core content was about the rainforest, dance moves, everything. And I thought about that when you said like being able to display your talent, and they were psyched about the rainforest just because they were able to create with it.
Wow. Yep.
So I want the viewing audience to be able to kind of see the things that you're doing, the math mixtape, also the Mr. E show. Is that what we call it? The Mr. E show?
Yep, the Mr. E show.
Yeah, the Mr. E show. So we'll take a
quick look at that.
Quick look at that.
Back.
Yeah. So.
Everybody. Hey, Mr. E! Come on in and find an outfit for today's adventure. Woo! All right. Hey!
I like red.
Hey, guys.
Yes?
So what do you think we're going to be today?
We're gonna be explorers!
That's right. That's right. We're going to be explorers. Come on, let's circle up. We're going to be explorers, and we're going on a special type of adventure because the adventure that we're going on is going to be in our imagination.
Wow!
Exactly. So I'm going to need you all's help to create the adventure. Are you guys ready to go to Imagination Land?
Yeah!
Okay, first things first. We're going to need a mode of transportation. What type of vehicle do you think we should use to go to Imagination Land? Okay. Great ideas. Anna, what do you think?
A canoe.
I love it. High five. Elazar, what should we use for paddles?
Pogo sticks.
I love it. Pogo sticks. Everybody, let's get into the canoe.
Hey, everybody. Come on in and find an outfit for today's adventure. Mr. E Show. Mr. E Show. On your mark, get set, let's go. On your mark, get set, let's go. What's next? Walk, don't run. Go to the trunk, that's clue number one. Look, what do you do? Inspect the clue, that's step number two. Look around, believe and see. Imagination is step number three. The journey's now. Jump inside. You're ready to explore. That's right. Going to a new place. Hear new sounds. Mysteries, adventures around. Imagination is a must. We can create a bunch of cool stuff. Exploring through our creative funnel. We capture our thoughts in our journey journals. Going on a journey, flying free with you and Mr. E. Mr. E. Show. Mr. E. Show. On your mark, get set, let's go. On your mark, get set, let's go.
Where are we? Imagination Land!
Mr. E and the D.
that's what you need to do. Why you mad? Cause you thought I couldn't learn my tools. Now you looking square. SpongeBob, I learned my tools quick, no flashcards. I caught them all. Pokemon, I learned my tools quick, no flashcards. They say math hard, boy you sound lame. YCDI, you can do it, man. Stick to it, Spider-Man. Bob the Builder, can you do it? Yes you can. Rambo, that's the motto, listen. Reading your math beyond opposition. 2, 4, 6, 8. I thought I told you, drink that haterade. 10, 12, 14. Yeah, boy, I'm fresh, so clean. 16, 18, 20. I count so fast, not even funny. 22, 24. Never going back, going straight forward. 2, 4, 6, 8. I thought I told you, drink that haterade. 10, 12, 14. Yeah, boy, I'm fresh, so clean. 16, 18, 20. I count so fast, not even funny. 22, 24. Never going back, going straight forward. Drink that haterade, that's what you need to do. Why you mad? Cause you thought I couldn't learn my tools. Now you looking square. SpongeBob, I learned my tools quick, no flashcards. I caught them all. Pokemon, I learned my tools quick, no flashcards. They say math hard, boy you sound lame. YCDI, you can do it, man. Stick to it, Spider-Man. Bob the Builder, can you do it? Yes you can. Rambo, that's the motto, listen. Reading your math beyond opposition. 2, 4, 6, 8. I thought I told you, drink that haterade. 10, 12, 14. Yeah, boy, I'm fresh, so clean. 16, 18, 20. I count so fast, not even funny. 22, 24. Never going back, going straight forward. 2, 4, 6, 8. I thought I told you, drink that haterade. 10, 12, 14. Yeah, boy, I'm fresh, so clean. 16, 18, 20.
All right, so we back, man. Mr. E, that was some amazing stuff.
Thank you.
Man, I really appreciate the work that you're doing. You like our black Mr. Rogers. You know? Let us know, how can parents, how can teachers utilize the Mr. E show or the math mixtape?
I tried to be very intentional for that purpose right there, especially with the sight word mixtape that I'm coming out with. The sight word mixtape, parents can use it, and teachers can use it too. They can use it in the classroom, like they have technology with the smart boards, use it for brain breaks, and at the same time, parents can use it too. I hate to say it, but for a large percentage of our children, they're on the phone. So at least they could be looking and listening to something that, one, is positive, and two, it's engaging educationally. You know, so coming out with a lot of lyric videos for the sight word mixtapes that they can use, and also just the repetition of hearing, like, the way that I created the songs. I wanted it to be very catchy, just like the hooks of songs that we listen to on the radio. Yeah. So the kids are learning without learning.
Absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. You also had an opportunity to participate in one of the In Demand songs as well, The Call.
Most definitely.
It's a link to the video below.
Yeah.
Tell us about that experience. What was that experience? What did that mean to you?
Man, it meant a lot. One, it was intimidating because it was the second song after You All, and that boy was, you know, it was hot fire. So, but it was very, I don't know if it was one, but it was hard to write because there's so much. It's like life, like you're trying to put life into a song almost. So it was easy, hard. Yeah. But it meant a lot to me to be able to display and to tell, like, how I really feel about the work that I do, the life work that I do. You know, so yeah, it meant a whole lot.
Yeah. I keep saying that I feel like I spent my whole life writing that verse.
Yeah.
Because that ended up being everything that I was doing.
Yeah.
Coming out through them 16 bars. So I understand what you're saying.
Most definitely.
All right, so, man, tell us, how can we get our hands on the mixtape? How can we view the Mr. E show?
So the Mr. E show, as of right now, is on the City of Detroit's Website, we partnered with the city of Detroit
Fantastic.
to do the Mr. E show, which was a blessing. So you can see it on the city of Detroit's YouTube page. All you have to do if you go on YouTube is just put in the Mr. E show, and it'll pop up.
Cool.
I'm also on Bandcamp right now, so it's Mr. E in the D, the number 1.bandcamp.com, and the math mixtape is up there. The sight word mixtape will be up there by the 1st of the month, and it's all for donation, so you can download it for free, or you can leave a donation. Because the greatest nation in the world
It's donation.
And shouts out to Ron Lee.
Yes.
He recorded the In Demand songs. I know he does the production work on the mixtapes and everything. So he's been quietly in the background doing his thing. What's the Irony Studios? So definitely shout out to Irony Studios. Ron Lee.
Yes.
So we are, we at that time. So, Mr. Wallace, man, you have anything to leave the audience with?
Just continue to do the work.
Yeah.
The good work, the right work.
Okay.
And we'll see you next time.
All right. Mr. E, you got anything to leave us with?
Life is an adventure. Live it.
All right,
Yeah.
indeed. And he's always smiling. I don't know, those of you that's listening, I don't know if you can hear him smiling through the through the mic. And then I would say that if you are someone, in demand, we're trying to recruit black men to the city of Detroit to be mentors, volunteers, and teachers. If you're someone you searching for purpose, I would encourage you to go to IamInDemand.com, sign up for our database. You can fill out our survey. You'll be in our database, and we'll connect you with those opportunities to start out like myself and Mr. E did as volunteers, or working some after-school program, or if you're already an educator and you're looking for some brothers or a mentor, or you looking for some fellowship, that's something else that we can provide as well. So,
Absolutely.
IamInDemand.com, check us out, and we'll see you guys on the next podcast.
Peace.
Peace.